AITA for calling off the wedding after my fiancée said my best friend was her true choice? I'm Liam, 35, and until that dinner, I was set to marry Maya after 6 years together. We had a shared wedding email, a half-finished seating chart spread across our kitchen counter, and a running disagreement about whether barbecue sliders were too messy for cocktail hour. I thought we were dealing with ordinary wedding stress. I just didn't realize I was helping pay for a ceremony where I was cast as the consolation prize. Maya was 33 and had always been the more romantic one between us. She remembered tiny things: the first movie we saw together, the restaurant where I first told her I loved her, the shirt I wore the night we got engaged. She saved ticket stubs, wrote long birthday cards, and could turn an ordinary Sunday breakfast into something that felt important. That was one of the reasons I loved her. Jordan had been my friend for more than 15 years. He and Maya had known each other before she and I started dating, and there had been something between them, though they never officially became a couple. Maya called it an almost relationship. Jordan called it bad timing. When Maya and I became serious, they both assured me it was over. There is history, Maya told me once, but there is no future there. Jordan said almost the same thing in a different way. I'm happy for you, man. Seriously. I believed them because I didn't want to be the kind of fiancé who treats every friendship like a threat. I also trusted Jordan more than almost anyone. If there was a line, I assumed he would respect it. For years, he mostly did. Then the wedding got close. Jordan started showing up in conversations that had nothing to do with him. If Maya was upset about the guest list, Jordan had an opinion. If she was overwhelmed by her mother, Jordan sent her a long text about protecting her peace. If we disagreed about the budget, Maya somehow ended up telling him before we had finished discussing it ourselves. One night, I woke up around 1 in the morning and saw Maya smiling at her phone. I didn't snatch it from her. I didn't accuse her of anything. I just asked, "Who's texting you this late?" "Jordan," she said. "He knows I've been stressed." The message on the screen was visible from where I was lying. "You deserve to feel understood during all of this. Don't let anyone make you shrink." I sat up. Why is he the one hearing about our wedding stress before I do? Maya locked the phone and placed it face down. Because he doesn't turn every feeling into a spreadsheet. I had been tracking our deposits because Maya kept forgetting due dates. I said, "That spreadsheet is the reason the caterer still has us on the calendar." She sighed like I was proving her point. The next morning, she acted normal. She made coffee, kissed my cheek, and asked if I had confirmed the final headcount with the restaurant. I told myself the text only bothered me because I was tired. A week later, she invited Jordan to a cake tasting. I found out when the bakery sent photos to our shared wedding email. One photo showed Maya holding a small plate, with Jordan standing beside her, laughing. The caption from the bakery said, "Great meeting your friend today. We noted the groom's preference for chocolate." I stared at that line for a full minute. When Maya came home, I turned the laptop toward her. Did they think Jordan was me? She looked at the photo and gave a nervous laugh. "That's not my fault. Why was he there? You canceled." "I moved the appointment because your mother changed the rehearsal time. I didn't want to lose the slot. You could have called me. You were busy. So you took Jordan. He was nearby." I waited for her to understand why that answer made everything worse. She didn't. Instead, she folded her arms and said, "You're making my past into a crime. I'm asking why my friend is being treated like a stand-in groom. He is not a substitute anything. Then stop putting him where I'm supposed to be." She cried after that. Not loudly. Maya rarely cried loudly. She sat on the edge of the couch with her shoulders curled inward and said the wedding was making everyone judge her. I ended up comforting her. That became the pattern. She crossed a boundary. I brought it up calmly. She reframed the conversation as proof that I didn't understand her. Then I apologized for how my discomfort made her feel. The first dance argument was the moment I stopped believing this was just wedding pressure. We had picked a song months earlier. It wasn't especially unique, but we both liked it, and we had danced to it in the kitchen after getting engaged. 3 weeks before the wedding, I opened an email from our planner and saw that Maya had replaced it. I asked her why. She was standing at the counter sorting RSVP cards. "That song has too many memories attached to it." "What memories?" She kept looking down. "Maya," she finally said, "Jordan and I used to listen to it." I felt something cold move through my chest. "You chose a song connected to him for our first dance." I wasn't thinking of it that way when we picked it. Then why change it now? Because I don't want complicated emotions on our wedding day. I pulled out a chair, but didn't sit. That song belongs to a version of me you don't understand, she said. Then why was it ever going to be our first dance? She got angry. Not because of the song. Because I had asked the question in a way she couldn't answer without admitting how much emotional space Jordan still occupied. Mature love shouldn't have to compete with old feelings, she said. I'm not asking to compete. I'm asking why you keep bringing those feelings into our wedding. She called me insecure. I left the room before the conversation turned into another hour of me defending my right to be hurt. The next day, I met Cole for coffee. Cole was 34 and one of the few friends who had known all three of us long enough to understand the history. I told him about the late-night texts, the cake tasting, and the first dance song. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said, "Don't hand them the jealous guy costume." What does that mean? It means if you yell, Jordan gets to be calm. If you accuse her without proof, Maya gets to cry. Then everyone spends the night talking about your reaction instead of what they did. So I just keep pretending this is normal? No. You document reality, and you stop arguing with theater. I didn't like how calculated that sounded. But I understood. My sister Tessa was even more direct. She was 39 and had never trusted the way Maya used emotional language to dodge simple answers. At a family dinner, she watched me push food around my plate for 10 minutes before asking what was wrong. I gave her the shortened version. She put down her fork. "You're not being mature," she said. "You're being convenient." That's a little harsh. It's accurate. Everyone knows you're the one least likely to make a scene, so they keep testing how much you'll swallow. I don't want to destroy a 6-year relationship over wedding nerves. Then don't. Give her a chance to be honest. I have. No. You've given her chances to calm you down. That landed harder than I expected. Before I left, Tessa followed me to my car. "Do not perform pain for people who came ready to misunderstand you," she said. "If she makes this public, answer with facts. Not rage. Facts." A few days later, I found something in the shared wedding email. I had logged in to check if Jordan had confirmed his meal choice. Buried among seating chart updates was a draft Maya had accidentally sent to the account instead of saving. It was labeled speech edits. Most of it was harmless. Thank our parents. Thank the wedding party. Mention how stressful planning had been. Make a joke about the sliders. Then I reached the notes near the bottom. Don't make Liam sound like second place. Mention Jordan without sounding like regret. Keep wrong timeline. I read those 3 lines over and over. The fact that she had written, "Don't make Liam sound like second place," meant she knew that was exactly how it sounded. I didn't confront her that night. I needed to know if I was looking at a clumsy attempt to acknowledge an old friend or a pattern she had been hiding in romantic language. The answer arrived 2 days later by accident. Maya called while I was in the grocery store. I missed it because my phone was in my pocket and my hands were full. A minute later, I saw a voicemail. At first, all I heard was movement and the muffled sound of a car door. Maya must have but dialed me and then put her phone down. Then I heard her voice. "I know Liam is the right choice. I just hate that he isn't the story." There was a pause. Jordan answered from farther away. "Then why does it feel like you're trying to convince yourself?" Maya lowered her voice, but the next part was still clear. "Because canceling now would destroy everything. My mother would lose her mind. Everyone would know. And Liam would never actually leave this close to the wedding." The message ended after that. I stood in the cereal aisle with a box in my hand and listened to it 3 times. I didn't feel angry at first. I felt stupid. Not because she had doubts. People have doubts before weddings. I could have understood fear. I could have understood panic. I could even have understood an old feeling resurfacing. What I could not understand was the confidence in her voice when she said I would never leave. She didn't sound scared of losing me. She sounded certain I would accept whatever she gave me. I went home and waited until after dinner. The wedding envelopes were spread across the kitchen counter. Maya was writing table numbers in gold ink. I placed my phone beside her. "I need you to listen to something." Her face changed before I pressed play. When the voicemail ended, she covered her mouth. "It was panic," she said. "Jordan was there." "I know. You were talking to him about whether you wanted to marry me." "I was overwhelmed." "You told him I wasn't the story." People say ugly things when they're scared. People also say honest things when they think no one is listening. She started crying. I stayed on the other side of the counter. I choose you, she said. Do you? Yes. Then why does Jordan know more about your doubts than I do? Because you make everything final. With him, I can just talk. We're getting married. Some conversations are supposed to matter. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. I'm not asking whether you love him more, I said. I'm asking whether you see me as the man you want or the man least likely to leave. That is not fair. It's exactly what you said. I said you were the right choice. That's not the compliment you think it is. For the first time in 6 years, I saw a real fear in her face. She promised there was no affair. She promised she hadn't kissed Jordan or slept with him. She said he was only someone who understood a part of her history. I believed there hadn't been a physical affair. That didn't make the situation harmless. I told her she had one chance left. Tomorrow night, I need you to act like the person you're marrying is the person you chose. Not the person you settled into. Not the person who makes sense. Me. She nodded quickly. I can do that. Then do it. That night, after she fell asleep, I forwarded the voicemail to myself and saved it in 2 places. I also searched the shared email for messages between Maya and Jordan. I didn't hack anything. I didn't open private accounts. The messages were already in the wedding inbox because Maya had forwarded herself screenshots while drafting her speech. There were only a few, but they were enough. Maya had written, "The wedding makes sense on paper. I wish my heart could stop comparing quiet love to what we had." Jordan had answered, "I'm trying not to influence you." Then, several messages later, he wrote, "I'll always wonder what would have happened if we had met each other at the right time." That was Jordan's entire method. He never told her to leave me. He just kept the emotional door open and stood in it. Another message from Maya said, "Liam will be hurt, but he will forgive me. He always chooses the relationship." That one hurt more than the voicemail. She had mistaken my patience for a permanent surrender. I called our wedding planner the next morning and asked a hypothetical question. If the wedding were canceled after the rehearsal dinner, what would happen? There was a long silence. Is this hypothetical? For now. She explained the contracts without prying. The venue balance was due the next morning. Several deposits were non-refundable. The hotel block could be released before midnight without an additional penalty. The honeymoon credit would return to the original cardholder's travel account. 2 vendor refunds would go to the person named on the contract. That person was me. Maya had promised to cover a larger share during the final month, but she had repeatedly delayed transferring the money. I had paid most of the remaining balances because she said she was waiting for a family contribution. I printed the relevant confirmations. Not the private messages. Not pages of accusations. Just the venue invoice, catering deposit, hotel block terms, honeymoon credit, and the planner's email confirming that refunds or credits would return to the original payer where applicable. I called Cole and Tessa separately. I didn't tell them everything. I only said I might need help leaving the rehearsal dinner without getting dragged into a fight. Cole said, "Facts first. Then the exit." Tessa said, "You are allowed to have a limit before the altar." I decided on that limit. If Maya gave a normal speech, apologized privately, and clearly chose our relationship, I would postpone the wedding and insist on counseling. If she turned the rehearsal dinner into a tribute to Jordan, the wedding would end before the next day. The restaurant had given us a private room with 2 long tables, printed place cards, small candles, and a preset menu. Both families were there. Close friends filled the seats near the center. Champagne glasses waited beside folded napkins. Maya wore a cream-colored dress. Jordan sat 3 seats away from her. He avoided looking at me. That told me more than any apology could have. Dinner started normally. Renee, Maya's mother, cried during her welcome speech. My father made a quick joke about finally removing me from the family phone plan, even though I hadn't been on it in years. People laughed. Plates came and went. For almost an hour, I thought Maya might have understood. Then she stood with her champagne glass. She thanked our families. She thanked the wedding party. She talked about stress and growth and how love changes shape over time. I watched her hands. They were trembling. She looked at me first. Then she turned toward Jordan. "There are people who enter our lives and teach us what love is supposed to feel like," she said. The room went still. Jordan looked down at the table. Maya continued, "Some people are the storm that changes you, and some people are the house you come home to." Everyone looked at me like I was supposed to smile and be grateful to be the house. She looked at Jordan again. You taught me that love could be wild and honest and impossible to forget. Renee's expression changed. Across the table, Tessa stopped touching her wine glass. Maya finally turned back to me. And Liam taught me that love can also be safe enough to build with, stable enough to trust. Mature love does not compete with memories. It makes room for every part of the story. There it was. Not an awkward phrase. Not one bad sentence. A prepared, public ranking. Jordan was the love that changed her. I was the structure that could hold the life she wanted. Maya lifted her glass higher. To the people who made us who we are, and to the person steady enough to accept all of it. A few people raised their glasses because they didn't know what else to do. I did not. I stood. My chair scraped against the floor, and the sound seemed louder than her entire speech. Maya's smile froze. Liam. I kept my voice level. I didn't come here to compete with a memory. She glanced around the room. Can we not do this right now? You chose right now. Her face tightened. I was trying to honor every part of my story. You just told both families that Jordan taught you what love should feel like, and I am stable enough to tolerate it. That is not what I said. It's what everyone heard. Jordan finally looked up. Maybe you two should take this outside. I turned to him. You can stop pretending you're just a guest. This is between you two. No. You stood in the middle and called it staying out of it. Maya set down her glass. You are embarrassing me. I reached into my pocket and took out my phone. You did that when you made me the safe ending to a story you clearly wanted to tell with someone else. Her eyes widened. Liam, don't. I pressed play. I only played the short section. I know Liam is the right choice. I just hate that he isn't the story. Then Jordan's voice. Then why does it feel like you're trying to convince yourself? I stopped it there. No extended recording. No slideshow. No private details beyond what directly explained why I was standing. The room went silent. Maya looked like all the air had left her body. I put the phone back in my pocket. I'm not canceling because you had a past, I said. I'm canceling because you tried to turn me into a consolation prize in front of everyone I love. Renee stood so quickly that her chair hit the wall. You are not canceling the wedding over one emotional speech. It was not one speech. You humiliated my daughter. She gave that speech after I confronted her privately about the voicemail. Maya whispered, please stop. I looked at her. I gave you a private chance to explain. You chose a public performance. Renee shook her head. People say things when they're scared. You do not destroy a wedding over complicated feelings. I took the envelope from inside my jacket and placed it on the table. It contained the printed payment records. I paid the venue deposit, most of the catering, the hotel guarantee, and the honeymoon balance, I said. The remaining venue payment is due tomorrow morning. It will not be paid. Maya's mother stared at me. What are you talking about? Ask your daughter why she kept letting me pay for a wedding she told Jordan only made sense on paper. Maya's head snapped toward me. You went through my messages? I read screenshots you sent to our shared wedding email while editing that speech. A few people began whispering. I slid the planner's email toward Renee. The contracts in my name will be canceled tonight. Refunds and credits will return to the original payer where the contract allows it. Items that belong to Maya will be returned. I am not keeping her property. Renee picked up the papers. Her anger didn't disappear, but it changed direction. She looked at Maya. How much did he pay? Maya said nothing. How much? I was going to pay him back. When? After the wedding. With what money? Mom, not now. Renee looked at the catering confirmation. Then the hotel guarantee. Then the honeymoon payment. You told us you split everything. We were going to. I watched the room shift. Not everyone suddenly supported me. Some people looked uncomfortable with the voicemail. One of Maya's cousins whispered that I should have handled it privately. Cole heard her and said, he did. Jordan stood. This has gone far enough. I looked at him. You knew she called me the practical choice. He put his hands in his pockets. She was scared. You knew she believed I would never leave. I never meant to be in the middle. You liked the middle. That was the problem. His face hardened for the first time. She needed someone to talk to. She had a fiancé. Maya began crying. This is cruel, she said. You are making everyone choose sides. I'm not making anyone choose. I'm done editing the truth so you can stay comfortable. She walked toward me, but Tessa stepped between us without touching her. Let him leave, my sister said. Maya looked at her. You always hated me. No, Tessa said. I hated watching him disappear inside your feelings. Cole came to my other side. You said enough, Tessa told me. Cole nodded toward the door. Don't give them a second scene. I took my coat from the back of the chair. Before leaving, I placed my wedding ring box on the table. The rings were not inside. The jeweler still had them for final cleaning, and the purchase account was in my name. I looked at Maya one last time. The wedding is off. She said my name as I walked out. I didn't turn around. Cole drove me to Tessa's place because I didn't trust myself to go back to the home Maya and I shared and start sorting through 6 years while I was still shaking. I sat at Tessa's dining table with my laptop open. At 11:17 p.m., I emailed the planner. Please cancel all services under contracts held solely in my name. Do not process tomorrow's venue balance. Release the hotel block before the deadline. Please confirm which credits return to the original payer. The planner replied 11 minutes later. Understood. I'm sorry. I will begin with the hotel block and venue notice tonight. The catering deposit was mostly non-refundable. I accepted that. Losing money hurt, but paying the remaining balance for a wedding that no longer existed would have been worse. The honeymoon credit returned to my travel account. A photography add-on was refundable because the final deadline had not passed. The hotel block was released before midnight. The venue kept the original deposit, but did not receive the larger balance due the next morning. I sent Maya one message. Do not contact me except about returning property or canceling shared services. Do not send Jordan. Do not send your family. The wedding is canceled. Then I texted Jordan. Our friendship ended when you let me stand next to you while you knew I was being used. I blocked him before he could respond. Maya called 32 times that night. The first voicemails were apologies. I said it badly. I was scared. You know I love you. I was trying to be honest about my past. By morning, the apologies had become accusations. You destroyed me in front of everyone. You could have waited until we got home. You wanted to punish me. You embarrassed my mother. I listened to none of them all the way through. The next afternoon, I returned to the house with Tessa and Cole. Maya wasn't there. Her mother had taken her home after the dinner. We packed my clothes, documents, electronics, and personal items. I left everything that clearly belonged to Maya. I photographed the rooms before leaving and made a list of shared items we would divide later. On the kitchen counter, the seating chart was still open. Jordan's name was circled in Maya's handwriting. Next to it, she had written, "Closer to us?" I closed the folder and left it there. Over the next week, we dealt with the ugly logistics people rarely mention when a wedding collapses. Gifts had to be returned. Guests had to be notified. The restaurant canceled the brunch reservation. Maya's family called relatives. My family called mine. Some mutual friends told me I had done the right thing, but shouldn't have played the voicemail publicly. Others said the public proof was the only reason Maya couldn't rewrite the speech as a misunderstanding. One friend sent me a message that said, "She was wrong, but that was brutal." I answered, "I agree it was brutal." So was being ranked at my own rehearsal dinner. I didn't argue beyond that. I wasn't trying to win the room. I only needed to leave it without accepting the role Maya had assigned me. 3 days after the dinner, Maya called from a number I hadn't blocked. I answered because I thought it might be about the house. Her voice was quiet. "I want to talk without everyone around." "You had that chance." I panicked. "You planned the speech." I kept editing it because I knew it was sensitive. "You wrote a note reminding yourself not to make me sound like second place." She was silent. Then she said, "I was trying to honor what Jordan meant to me without lying. Honesty doesn't require turning me into a placeholder." "You were never a placeholder." "What was I?" "The person I wanted to marry." "That is not an answer." She started crying again. I was overwhelmed. The wedding made everything feel permanent. It was supposed to be permanent. "I need another chance." "No. You cannot throw away 6 years over one vulnerable moment." It wasn't one moment. It was months of choices. The late-night texts, the tasting, the song, the voicemail, the messages, the speech. I never cheated on you. You kept another man inside our relationship and called me insecure when I noticed. He understood me. So did I. I just stopped agreeing to be hurt by it. Her voice changed. "You planned this. I prepared for what you might do. You wanted to expose me." "No, I wanted you not to give that speech." She whispered, "I love you." I believe she meant it in whatever way she understood love. That was no longer enough. "You may love me," I said, But you respected my tolerance more than you respected me. I ended the call. 2 days later, Renee emailed me. Her message was stiff and clearly difficult for her to write. I need copies of the wedding payment records. Maya told us you had each paid approximately half. I need to understand what she told us and what actually happened. I sent only the relevant receipts and the planner's refund summary. I didn't send the messages between Maya and Jordan. I didn't send more of the voicemail. I wrote, I am not trying to punish your family. I am done protecting a version of the story that made me look small. Renee replied the next morning. I understand. I am sorry I accused you before I knew the full situation. That was the closest thing to an apology I expected from her. Jordan tried to contact me about a week later. He left a voicemail from Cole's phone after asking to borrow it. Cole hadn't known what he intended to do and was furious afterward. Jordan said, I never wanted this to happen. I never told her to leave you. I thought supporting her was the right thing. I'm sorry you got hurt. It was a perfect Jordan apology. Everything happened around him. Nothing was done by him. I sent one final message through Cole. Tell him this. You like the middle. That was the problem. Then I asked Cole not to pass along anything else. Jordan's reputation didn't collapse overnight, but people stopped treating him like the quiet, noble friend. Several mutual friends had watched him sit through Maya's speech without objecting. After the voicemail, his silence no longer looked respectful. It looked like participation. Maya's version of events changed depending on the audience. At first, she said I had overreacted to a poetic toast. Then she said the voicemail had been taken out of context. Then she said Jordan and I had both pressured her in different ways. The problem was that too many people had heard her speech, and too many payment records existed for her to pretend I had abandoned an equal arrangement without warning. She had expected embarrassment if she canceled the wedding. Instead, she got more of it by forcing me to do what she believed I never would. I lost money. I lost a friendship I had trusted for half my life. I lost the future I had pictured with Maya. None of that felt satisfying in the moment. The satisfying part came later, when the pressure stopped. No more wondering why Jordan knew about our arguments. No more being told that boundaries were jealousy. No more trying to prove I was secure enough to tolerate being compared to someone who was always presented as deeper, wilder, or more meaningful. I moved my remaining things out, closed our shared accounts, and returned the last gifts that had been delivered to me. Maya received everything that belonged to her. I kept the refunds and credits tied to my payments, exactly as the contracts allowed. Months later, I still didn't hate her. I hated what I had allowed myself to become around her. Quiet, careful, endlessly reasonable, and afraid that one firm boundary would make me look weak or controlling. Maturity is not the same as accepting disrespect with a calm face. I did not cancel the wedding because she had a past. I canceled it because she tried to make me pay for a future where I was still second place. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.